I'm your host Basu Nepal, and today I have with me Govinda Wagle, who is a security manager at Spiralogics. And starting with the very first question, so can you tell us something interesting about yourself?
Basu, thank you very much for inviting me to this session. So, I personally find everything interesting about myself, but to be specific, what I would like to say is, since my childhood, I had always dreamed of becoming a Apache helicopter pilot. I used to watch a lot of National Geographic documentaries regarding military and stuff. So and then life happened and I pursued different career and academics, and I didn't get a chance to go to the lane that I wanted, but the lane that I'm running right now is going perfect. And yeah, there is one thing that I thought of doing in the future, but ended up contributing to this IT industry since 2014, which is going interesting very well for me.
Well, that was really an interesting story, and I hope you can get to fly a Apache one day.
Yeah, so I hope so
So,
too. Who knows?
yeah. So right now you are involved in the cybersecurity domain, right? So how you started this particular journey, and how has been this journey so far?
Okay, so to start with, let me tell you, I started working in Spiralogics since 2014. I joined as a fresher. Since then, I've been working here. And when I joined Spiralogics, I used to, I was a fresher, and then I got a chance to work in some of the projects which included PHP and all the stuff. But I never had a chance to, work in the server level where we would host the actual application. So after a few years, I got a chance. I got the responsibility to work in that domain as well. And on that process, unknowingly, I happened to configure that web server in a way that I got A+ rating, and then our senior managers and senior department heads recognized it. So to be honest, that was not intentional. And then I would have to say I was lucky to have that configuration in the web server, and then I was lucky enough to get that opportunity. And then since then I've been learning security and stuff in quite a journey.
It seems quite a journey, and luck played a significant role in like shaping you to this particular time, right?
Yeah, it started with a tiny task, and right now I'm here working as a security manager.
Yeah, so you started as a fresher, and even accidentally you did something great, and now you are a security manager. So how important is the role of security manager in an organization like this?
So when I got the responsibility at first, my thought process was I would have to restrict people from doing many stuff, so that that was my thought. Being a security professional, you'd have to restrict everything, and then give minimalistic access. That was only my thought. That is one of the responsibility, but that was the primary concern for me, because I was very naive at that point of time. But now I've come to this point. Coming to this point, I have realized that that is not only the important part of responsibilities that security manager has. So the major role of security manager is to secure the people around you, not only the infrastructure, but also the people around you, not only the people that are working in the organization that you work for, but also the people around you, your relatives, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother. These days, who nobody, I mean, these days everybody uses Facebook. Like everybody uses social media, be it Instagram or be it Facebook. So as you asked, the important role of security manager in an organization, that is a good question. But I would say the role of security manager is not restricted to only within the organization, but it also revolves around your relatives, your family members, and of course the colleagues that you work with. So the important role is to have an environment for them, set up an environment for them, conduct awareness training programs for them, so that it becomes a lot more easier for them to understand and cope up with the security setup.
I totally agree with you, and it was a really great statement from you that if people around you are secure, then automatically the organization will be secure. And nowadays we see a lot of new technologies and new features on a daily basis, and sometimes we are not sure how to use it, and which may ultimately lead to some vulnerabilities within an organization. So how difficult is it to cope up with ever-changing technologies, and how can we ensure a better transition to a new technology to improve adaptability among all the people, so that we are safe with the new technology as well?
Okay, that's a really good question. As you said, advancement of technology is really rapid, right? Everybody agrees on that. But so does the security tools and techniques and procedures, right? So security is not a separate thing. It also, the problem that we're facing right now is the implementation of those tools, implementation of the procedures, which are I'm really happy that most of the organizations are talking about security these days, talking about tools and techniques and how we can integrate those into our infrastructure. That was what was lacking. It's not that technology is advancing on its own way and security tools and techniques are lacking behind. That is not the case. Both are going in the same pace, but the thing is, the plus point here is most of the organizations, be it in Nepal, be it in the worldwide, are considering the security aspects of the life cycle within the organization. So let's take an example. Nowadays, security has become a part of SDLC, software development life cycle. That is a great step that an organization can take in their process. So as technology advances, so does the security tools and techniques. But the major part would be how you would get that tools and techniques into your organization. One thing can be having a monthly maintenance weekend and patching your servers. That can be one of the things, right? And creating a separate department where they would research and explore security tools and techniques. They would get time for that. As long as you have time and people researching and on your side, it becomes a lot more easier to cope up with these technologies and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, as the technology advances, so does the security tools and techniques and knowledge, right? And then as we explore, we learn and we implement. But given that there is a time period given to that department, there is tools and techniques given to that department. Once that is done, the rest is all the people and people around you who take care of that.
As you said, with the improvement in technology, so does improve the cyber security and the security measures. But now we also have heard that we generally hear about the myth that with every new technology, there will be thousands of or advanced way to crack into the system. So that ultimately means that technology has not really improved cyber security. So you believe it is kind of a myth, right?
To some extent, it can be right. But so far, from my experience, what I can say is yes, it increases the chances of getting someone else into the system, but um, I doubt security, people, security resources are, lagging on that portion, especially because they are also moving forward, right? So I think that's a myth because so far from my experience, I can say that it's a myth.
Yeah, so thank you for clarifying that. And since we have started talking about getting into the system in and without having some permission, so what is the most common threat or weak point when we talk about cyber security in terms of organization or in terms of whole cyber security?
Yeah. So as I talked earlier, that the people around you should be very much aware of what's going on, in the security domain. So that's a very critical part, and also the very weakness part of the organization is the people working there, right? And also the people that are around you, your relatives. Those are the weak people. Why I'm saying weak people is because the chances of let me give you an example of um, uh, elderly people. So right these days they have started using banking systems, right? They have started using social medias and all, but they wouldn't know if I call them and then pretend to be like I'm from a Facebook or I'm from this bank they use. They will not know how to identify whether this is a legitimate call or this is a legitimate email or not. So the weakest link would be the people around you and people you are working with, your colleagues, but they would be weakest only if they are not aware, right? So as being a security manager and being a security professional or anyone who is involved in the IT industry who are contributing for so long, it is their responsibility to make them understand and be aware, make them aware of these tools and tactics, these scammers and all these malicious intent people do to get into your private information.
Yes, certainly. People are the easiest hack, and this is a really common phrase when we hear when we talk about cybersecurity, and it is true in every sense. So I just like to follow up that with a quick question: are those people actually aware of the threat that they poses in the system? Are they aware that they are the people who may be the most vulnerable in the whole security stuff?
Yeah. So the problem is they would become the weakest link if they are not, right? So the way that we can make them aware is through trainings and giving them time to go through the blogs that your IT department can share, of course. If we don't do that, they will be the weakest link, and they won't know they are the weakest link to the organization. If you don't know that, then how would you know I am the weakest link, right? They would have to know that what I can do for the organization to get compromised first, right? So if they are aware of these are the tools and techniques that scammers uses, these are the tools and techniques that someone can get into your infrastructure if the firewall is not set up well. If they are aware of that, it covers almost everything that can be covered for the people you are working with.
Okay, and we have like a stereotype mindset to believe that hacking means a person with a computer and a device doing some code to get into the system. But is this true in real life? How does the threat actually look in real life?
So, threat doesn't have a face itself, but I know that what would my face look when I see a threat. So, this I will not say it's a stereotypic mindset, because it does involve some having some knowledge of coding practices, because um, being in a security domain, you'd have to understand how the development works, how the quality assurance team works, right? You have to understand how the delivery of the product works, and the infrastructure that application requires, right? All of the things are the major critical parts of any application or any solution that you provide to your customer or client. So it's not a myth that coding and all those things that you see in the movies, that is to some extent, but it's not up to that level, because it's a different. You have to look into the it might go up to weeks and months, but coding and all this stuff, it's required.
And now I'm quickly following up with next question. Like, what is the most difficult challenge in cybersecurity? You talked about the awareness part and also the protection part. So which is most difficult? Is it awareness or the protection?
So protection part, I think you meant protection of the infrastructure, and it has nothing to do with people, right? The protection is something that dedicated number of people do, right? They especially, we call it blue team. That is, blue team take care of the protection part, right? Because they would be the person having adequate knowledge about the security tools and techniques. So that those tools and techniques and how to implement them based on the infrastructure and all those things, they are aware of it. But the most important and among awareness and protection, I would choose awareness, because I would know the tools and techniques. I would know what can be done to protect, but I would not know what can I do to protect them. It has to be from their perspective. I would have to understand from their perspective how much knowledge they have, right? How much what is their for instance, if I'm talking to a QA person, I would have to bring a different different aspect of my explanations, right? If I'm talking to the dev people, I would have to bring different aspects for them to understand it. So among awareness and protection, it would be the awareness that would be much more challenging. But if you make it like your habit, or if you enroll that portion into your process, it would be a lot more easier. For instance, if you have an awareness training every month, first month it would be very hard, right? And the second month it would be a little hard, but every month it goes by, it will be a lot more easier, and then it will be a lot more easier for the listening party to understand as well. But you have to choose how you are going to approach.
So awareing the people is difficult rather than the protecting the entire system, right?
It's almost, to make it more effective, it would be more challenging, because we'd have to go to different people with different mindsets, right? So that would be much more challenging, or you can say in a way it's difficult.
So I got your point there. And now talking about the recent time, there is a new culture in the world of remote work or work from home. So how has the role of security manager changed in compared to pre-COVID time and now the work from home situation?
So well, it depends upon the infrastructure setup for the people that work within the organization, right? So if they are, for instance, if they were needed to come to the office before COVID, it would have been a lot more challenging for them, right? So for Spiralogics, I would say there are certain challenges for sure, and we are overcoming that as we go. But the most challenging for us is to, let's say, what I used to do is I would go to office physical location, and then work from 6, and then there would be night team working later that day, right? But now what happens is, sitting in the home and not getting chance to go outside. Every time it feels like you are working from office, right? So it becomes hectic. That is the mentality that everybody tends to have when you work from office 24/7, right? Because every time there will be a laptop in front of you, and you don't know what to do, right? So, so the most challenging and the most challenging for the security manager or security people would be to, you know, have people get out of that, dimension. So what can we do is, maybe, let's say, if they used to have a LAN, if they used to have a LAN, and then they used to work in a LAN in the office before, maybe have them set up a similar environment at the home. We can do that. Talking it from the security perspective. So if they used to use LAN in the office, then we can have them set up a similar structure using our infrastructure tools and techniques, and then they will not find any difference, right? So the main thing is, and the main challenge is not the security, but the mindset that they would have when they work from office 24/7. So that is something more challenging, and we need to focus on.
So as a security professional, what is the advice that you want to give to people who want to have a secure, who want to secure themselves from the vulnerabilities?
Okay. So think before you do anything. That is the main thing, right? So before you, especially when you don't recognize a person, or when you don't recognize a call, as far as I say. So think before you, provide any personal information. So let's take an example. You build a house, right? You have a doors in there, you have windows. What's that for? So that only authorized people can get in, right? So if someone gets in and you don't know, you take some actions, right? You not let that person get in. Similarly, in the IT industry and in the security industry, when someone calls you and pretends someone else, and especially when they try to or force you to get your personal information, make sure that you are talking to the right person. If you are not, if you have any doubt, just drop the call, don't reply to emails, and just you know the right person to contact, right? You just don't know who is calling you. So you can contact that authority and then by yourself, and then verify. And once you verify it, and then move forward. That is the best step and effective step that we can avoid, and then we can make ourselves secure. And one more thing, always have your people around you aware of these kind of things, because most of the people watching this video would be IT people. So it's our responsibility to have our people around you, know about scamming things and all phishing things, so that your parents and your especially elderly people can be aware as well. At least they would know to get in touch with you, right? If they don't know how to protect themselves, but they would know how to get in touch with you. So that way we can protect ourselves and people around it. And yeah, that is what I would suggest.
It is indeed and very good advice to everyone. So now I'll be asking my last question that I have. That is, what is the most common misconception in the field of cybersecurity?
So the most misconception I have found is you can just get into cybersecurity, right? You can just take a course and then get into it. That is the most common misconception, because from my experience and from the people I admired, I heard from the people that I admired so far, or I would say is you need to have some level of experience in almost almost development, be it quality assurance, be it infrastructure, and of course security tools and techniques. So you need to have at least basic knowledge, basic foundation knowledge, so that you see, if I want to test any application, if I want to scan any applications, tools and techniques can give the automatic and check based on predefined rules. But if we know how actually development works, how people check quality of any product, then we would better be would be a better security professional. Because if you know how to be a thief, then you can catch a thief very soon. Right?
That is a very good point, in fact. So you have to know how to be a thief to actually save yourself from thief, right?
Right.
Okay, by this we have come to the end of the session, and thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Basu, and it was. I hope it was worth its session, and thank you for inviting me.